Well, everybody, Living on Music continues of 2 years into this, and lo and behold, somebody that I have treasured for many years, who was actually on June 15th, 2020 with me, one of the really the true gems of music this area has ever seen. Look who's here, Patty Reese. How are you?
Hi, Steve. Doing great.
Got it. Great. I've been following everything you've been doing, well, at least publicly, for the last 2 years. And boy, have you had a very interesting run. We haven't talked about things since June. So in a nutshell, how do you feel? Do you feel good coming back out? I know you're playing. We'll talk about the live schedule you have coming up, which has been wild, including tonight. This is going to air 3 days after it, Blues Alley tonight. How do you feel about getting back out?
Oh, man, I tell you what, I've never been busier in my life. Well, that might not be exactly true, but I mean, it's balls to the wall, man. It's full on. It's great. It's been really wonderful.
Yeah, and
people are ready.
I can see that, and so it's been really interesting. And we'll talk. I'd like to talk a little bit about your new record, and it is Salty and Sweet, and that's going to be out this fall, Patty. And boy, have you been wonderful to share the journey down to Nashville, which not only musicians but music fans and everybody who loves music can just go along with you down there. Was this your first adventure to Nashville to record? And tell us about this and what it was like.
Yes, my first time going down there to record. I've been down there in the past, but Fred Cannon, former senior vice president of BMI, he is now the CEO of a label called Creative and Dreams.
Wow.
Which is based out of Nashville, where he now lives. And we've talked about recording over the years. You know, he's really helped me out a lot in a lot of different ways. And he just blipped this thing on Facebook the other day. I was listening, or not the other day, last winter.
Right.
And I was listening to his radio show, Freddie Cannon radio show, and I had, commented on Facebook, and he responded, he goes, "When are we going to record?" And I was like,
God,
take it the bait.
Really? You're like, threw it out there, and he latched on to you, and that is when did so then it progressed into the sessions, and you've been down there, what is it, twice or three times over the last number of months?
3 times now. Mm-hmm.
Oh, my
3
God.
times.
And
it's been a really wonderful collaborative effort. It's just been a beautiful experience, really, truly.
When did the songs, Patty, that you wrote that are being done in these sessions, when did those come to you? Over the last 2 years, 3 years, 5? When?
Some of them in the last couple years, and Salty and Sweet, the title track, I wrote just like a month ago, not even a month ago.
Wow.
And but it's been very collaborative. I brought them unfinished songs, songs that I had started in the past. One song is called Root of the Matter. I was going to call Let in the Sun Root of the Matter, my previous release. And I just never finished the song. Right. And I just wasn't feeling it then. But Paul Buono, the other producer who's invisible on the internet, why, I don't know, because he's just such a super talent, and his studio's at his place. And he's really helped me a lot, co-write and formulate ideas.
Right.
And he's just like a kid. He's just so fun. It's just so fun. So yeah, it's been really great.
Oh,
and he plays everything, and has produces, records, mixes. I mean, he does it all.
And you have a couple guys, at least there's more than that, but a couple of guys that stood out when we were talking a little bit about it. Dan Needham, who's the drummer on the record, and Blair Masters are just two of the musicians. Talk a little bit about Dan and Blair, and then anybody else you want to. Who was? I mean, it must have been amazing to have that crew doing your songs in Nashville, Patty. I mean, we were all so happy for you up here, going, "Yay, she's in Nashville!" It was great.
Well, yeah. Well, first off, I cannot neglect to mention Fred Cannon, because he's the executive producer. He's the one in the studio with us every minute too, and going, "No, not that's too fast. That's too slow.
Right.
And then he comes up with a lot of great ideas. So, I mean, it's like, it's the three of us working together is really what's brought this together. So we'll start with Dan Needham's studio. Dan Needham, drummer extraordinaire. He's worked with everybody. I mean, Michael McDonald, Chaka Khan. I mean, the list just is huge. If you go to his website, Dan Needham Music, it's just,
Right.
Wow. And the cool thing about that town is, so now we don't go to one studio and someone shows up. That's not how it works anymore. You take the hard drive over to their house where they have a state-of-the-art studio, just gorgeous, with the kit set up, mic'd, ready to go at all times, beautifully EQ'd, and he's got a bunch of different snares, whatever works on your track the best. And
wow,
just so funny. He's hilarious. He's just so, I mean, these guys are just wonderful. And Brian too, keyboard player, who's Garth Brooks' keyboard player. We went to his house.
Wow.
And in his studio, and he's worked with Frampton. I mean, all kinds of people, they have stuff all over the place, saying all these great gold records of decorating that, but the kind of people they are, they're just so down to earth, Brian's like, hey, you guys want to come downstairs and see my new El Camino? Because it's really not that new. It's kind of crappy. I drove it back from Oregon. I mean, I throw mulch and stuff in the back, but it's really cool. We're like, yeah, let's go.
Oh my God. That's fantastic.
I mean, that's how fun it's been. It's been light. It's been easy. It's been, and it's because of, Fred and Rose and Paul, the Creative and Dreams team, their reputation is stellar. Rose also runs Pete Drake Music. Pete Drake was her husband who owned, like 4 studios in Nashville. And he was, the innovator of the pedal steel. And he had the first talking box. He invented the talking box that Peter Frampton made famous on. He gave Peter Frampton his first talking box.
Oh, do you feel? Yep, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. But so Pete Drake, I mean, all these guys they've worked with, they recorded Bob Dylan, George Harrison, Ringo Starr, George Jones, anyone you could possibly imagine. Go to the Creative and Dreams website and look at it. So, the fact that they're helping me out, and they really are helping me out. I mean, it's just, and it's fun. They're having fun doing it. I mean, that's just how much they love musicians and music. And Fred worked a long time in conjunction with BMI, trying to protect, working with Congress. He represented musicians in Congress to own intellectual property. You know how things are now. It's just like, you don't get jack anymore. And,
right.
So, I mean, these people have been on every level you could possibly imagine. Stories like you wouldn't believe. But as far as my music goes, we've been having a ball bringing that to life, so we show up at Brian's house with the hard drive. We show up at Dan's house with the hard drive, and
wow,
they put their tracks on, and it's like magic.
And is the music that's on Sweet and Salty and Sweet, is that Patty Reese at the core from your past? Is there anything new that you're doing? Are you giving it that same wonderful flavor that
I'm calling it salty and sweet because it is salty and sweet. So there's that salty roots rock stuff going on.
Right.
But at the same time, I'm also doing some really beautifully produced covers that I've always wanted to do. We're doing like What the World Needs Now is Love, Sweet Love, which it certainly does, right?
Oh, man.
Especially now.
Wow.
And, so we're doing classic covers as well. So it's half and half. So that's why I'm calling it salty and sweet.
Wow.
So if I do a disc, an LP, we'll do the salty side and the sweet side.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah. And that sounds so wonderful and sounds so you, Patty, to blend those kinds of things. That's what you do out in the world. Yeah. Speaking of live, as we said, the night that we're recording this, you're at Blues Alley. That must feel, again, what a fabulous place, and how great is that going to feel to be back on stage?
Oh yeah, well, I've been doing tons and tons of solo work.
Yes,
obviously playing out, and so playing with the band. I haven't played with the band much, so we're doing a show tonight with Jonathan Sloan, Darren Blessman, and Sonny Petrosky, and it's in conjunction with the Songwriters Association of Washington D.C.
Oh, beautiful.
Who's doing a series. which I was the director of education for them for 10 years.
Yes.
And so it's a lovely series. I'm happy to be a part of it.
It is fabulous. And Darren is going to be with us on the 10th too, at the Cancer Can Rock event, playing with Eric Scott. And so Darren is, again, one of those incredibly versatile things. Patty, just touching briefly on this before we go, I want to talk a little bit more about some of the other gigs you have coming up. The last 2 years for me on Living on Music, I've realized, and even I knew, but now I know more about the musical community that Washington has, and you are a central part of it. You must feel like over the last 2 years, people did bond. They did what they could. They couldn't get together some of the time, but everybody kind of kept support for everybody. Did you feel that as well?
Oh, absolutely. I even had some concerts here at the house, or like just let people use our house because we have a huge backyard and patio, and like the Soul Crackers did their Christmas show here. And we filmed it and they, put it out into the world that way. And I had a number of different things, bandhouse gigs. We did a song here for a part of a full production that they had. So, and I had contacted Ronnie and I said, Ronnie, and he was like, well, what do you want out of this? I go, nothing. I just want everyone to have a chance to get together, just a chance to see each other. And,
Yep.
So I hope you're not seeing this text on my.
I'm not seeing anything. I'd let you know, unless it was really funny and we'd have a blast with it. But yeah, that's true. That again, it is all about that coming out on July 15th, which everybody in this area has been waiting for Newmeyer Flyer and Bandhouse gigs to come rollicking back out, and they are with a surge. Janis Joplin show at a place that I would normally be at this show to see you, but because we have a place in Bethany, but we're not going to be there that weekend because Suzanne's going to be out of town. But you guys are doing a gig at the Rehoboth Bandstand, which is when that place is packed, which it will be, that is a blast to be there right on the edge of the water, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's a wonderful, wonderful opportunity, wonderful event. So yeah, we're doing a Joplin tribute show, and we'll be doing a lot of Joplin.
Oh God. Yeah. That sounds fantastic. People are going to be mind blown right there. I was there on Saturday night with the 19th Street Band was playing Mangoes right up above there. Yeah. And we were, they're going to be at the Cancer Can Rock event. So I've been, interviewing people from there too. But anyway, what I'm seeing is that with the new record, that we are so excited for, Salty and Sweet, all these people around here in your musical community and your fan base and everything are waiting and can't wait for Salty and Sweet, because you've given them a little bit of a taste, not only here today with me, but you've given them a taste of what it was like. Why is Nashville? It's the history. But did it feel that, you could have gone to these guys' houses in a lot of different locations. There is that amazing touch of Nashville. You got the Ryman behind me. For you, it's my dedication to Patty that the Ryman needed to be behind me. But what did Nashville do to kind of up the ante on it for you at the beginning and during it?
Well, just on a personal level, for me, it was just nice to get away from the daily distractions of life and be that I am there to just do this one thing. I'm not taking call. I'm not booking. Right. I'm not advertising. I'm not going to the grocery store. You know what I mean? I am there. And so that laser focus is so important. But also, our city, we have a pretty warm and cozy music community, right?
Sure do.
And here where we live, I'll tell you what, it's the same down there. Those people, they're working with big stars and everything else, but they know each other. They've been around a long time. They have a history. And it's pretty cozy. It's pretty cozy and sweet. And I've been really privileged to be a part of that. And I just want to throw in there too that, I know a lot of people don't know what it's like to go into a recording studio. They don't know what it's like where do you stay and what does that look like and blah, 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 blah. So, I wanted to put in there like the recording studio part for friends and fans who just really don't know how that comes together. And I often wonder, like, okay, they go on the road. What does that look like? Like to me, sometimes it's hard and it's rough. And I've been really blessed. I got some really good Airbnbs for a lot less than a hotel that are just gorgeous.
They were.
The last one was Nancy Griffith's house.
Oh my God, really? Oh.
I know, right? Well, I didn't know that till I was leaving, and I got to talking to the owner. And she was like, "Oh yeah, this used to be Nancy Griffith's house." I was like, "Are you kidding me?"
Oh, that's fantastic. God. And I love the images that you showed. Again, it just showed that there seemed to be a comfort level too, going into the studio, even for somebody with your amazing talent, your experience. Going into the studio, as you just said, is still a big deal. And at least you had some wonderful, relaxing comfort around the region and those beautiful places. And I swear that was part of the charm that you brought to so many of us, which was like, this is where, as you just said, this is where I'm staying. We're hanging here. It must have been an incredible experience. And Salty and Sweet is going to be the phenomenal, I'm sure, result coming out this fall. If I think pattyreese.com, is that remain where people can find most about what's going on with you?
Yeah, that website really needs to be updated. But
Okay.
Social media, Patty Reese Music. You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on Facebook, but anywhere out there. I always say, if you can't find me online, it's because you're not looking. Just put my name in your search engine, and I will be there.
And there's mega gigs to find Patty live too, everybody. And that's one amazing part of her, as well as the songwriting that we'll get from Salty and Sweet. But Patty Reese, you made my day, my month, and my year by finding some time. Because again, it's Blues Alley tonight, and then you're going to be churning through this week at other places like the Anchor Bar. You got Brews and Barrels, TJ's Roadhouse. Look, I'm reminding her how crazy her week's going to be. But
and I don't want to know about that yet. All I know is I got to do tonight, and then tomorrow morning I have the first Janis Joplin rehearsal, and I need to prepare for that. So,
yes, is that? I'm
just doing this 24 hours right now. Okay.
Is that a Chuck's?
No, it won't be at Chuck's. It'll be at Matt's.
Oh, fabulous!
Matt's
well,
hosting us.
Give everybody my best for that. I can't wait to see Ronnie again too, and who knows, maybe singing another one of his gigs like I did before, which was one of the great experiences of this midlife cover band guy. Singing. But you'll be proud, Patty. The Greek and the Freak, which is my duo you've seen, is opening at the Cancer Can Rock event at 868 Vineyards. So who the heck knew that our little humble duo, we're playing this Thursday at Hank Deedle's, which is so exciting for the history of Hank Deedle's up in Rockville for everybody. But look, go to pattyreese.com, playing 5:30 to 7. And
okay.
Yeah, can't wait. And there's people that might show up, and gosh, if I saw you at one of my gigs, I'd freak, but it'd be amazing. But everybody follow Patty on her, where you can find her as usual, like we all do. But also, again, Salty and Sweet coming out this fall from a Nashville experience. Patty Reese, thanks so much for the time on Living on Music again.
Thank you, Steve. Mwah.
Yeah, we'll be in close touch. I'll see you soon, one way or the other. Thanks again.